Okay, bots, am I right? So here we have Call of Duty Warzone. This is Resurgence with high settings or ultra settings with high textures, DLSS on quality, and frame generation, because you want to use all the bells and whistles if you're playing on this card. That's the reason you bought this card, right? Should be. Should be the reason you bought this card, because why else would you buy Nvidia right now if you're not wanting all the bells and whistles? So with frame generation on, DLSS quality, everything else on ultra, we are getting 219 frames per second on 1080p. That is pretty dang good. And I'm going to drop somewhere that's not populated, because I don't want to die instantly and be against Giga Sweats. I think it was the first floor. Actually, I don't need it because you get a free self-revive right off the bat.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
So I'm going to take the FR for the high fire rate.
Down to 10. Win this thing.
And you're like, ooh, the other gun's a laser. The Kilo is a laser. Shut up. You play too much COD. I'm loving it. Nerds. Nerds. Get shit on. That guy was sliding around like he knew what he was doing.
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy dropping into the AO.
He's so low.
I'm reloading.
And yes, this is easy with bots. I don't care. I simply don't care. You're better than me. I don't care.
Friendly loadout drops on the way.
Hit fire for the win.
Reloading. Target down. Marking the rest of them. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Moving here. Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad on your tag.
Okay, he's down. So I'd like an SMG, please, to replace the FR.
Enemy soldier incoming. Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad.
Okay.
Get hunted. Enemy destroyed. Tag map.
A lot of people complain about input latency on with frame generation, and honestly the reason they're complaining is because they're getting under 68 frames per second. That's the real reason they're complaining, is because the base frame rate is under 60 frames per second, causing input delay heavily, and that shows like that shows in like literally when you play the game. So make sure, I mean, you're watching this if you're planning on buying this card, and 60 FPS is no issue on this card whatsoever at 1080p. But make sure if you're running an older card that, and you're using frame generation, that you're playing on low settings, you know? Like that meme, Free perks.
Window is ending.
Perks. I get a perk when I buy this. Skill-based damage. That was definitely skill-based damage right there. That was some BS for sure.
Saw the light there.
Five squads still operational in the AR. Target squad is outside the safe zone.
Players. Am I right? Yeah, but performance is really, really solid on this card at 1080p. Frame generation, I have no complaints. Look at these guys. Look at all these guys over here. Fucking nerds.
Taking effective fire. You're in the top three. Don't let up.
Fucking nerds.
You're in the last two now. Mission accomplished.
Nice.
Targets eliminated.
Good game. Got like 200 FPS on average with frame gen. So natively, it's 2 times frame generation. Safe to assume that. Because this game doesn't support 4 times. It'll be in the next COD because that's what they prey off of. We're looking at 100 FPS natively at ultra settings with DLSS quality. Moving on to the next game. Okay, so this is Delta Force at 1080p, DLSS quality, and extreme settings with frame generation. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. Ultimate settings, DLSS quality, and frame generation. It is ×2 because games just haven't implemented ×4 yet. Sigh, big sigh, except for like Cyberpunk, which I'll show you in these benchmarks. And I will reiterate, if you're buying a 50 series card or 40 plus, you bought it for frame generation, let's be honest. And you didn't buy it for performance, you bought it for frame generation because it's NVIDIA. And DLSS, at least that should have been the reason you bought it. Otherwise, you should have went with AMD, dog. Like, AMD just has more rasterization performance. But anyway, rant aside, we're getting 200s with frame generation, no milliseconds of latency. I feel like people complain about frame generation only because they are under 60 frames per second, and that's the only reason they complain about frame generation and input latency. Jesus, I'm washed. It's right now. Okay, I wiped out a team. They were teaming with somebody else. I've tried benchmarking this game 3 times now, and I failed every single time. It won't fill me with squads, died to the boss, etc. That's going to be the benchmark, short and sweet, 200 FPS average on extreme settings. Moving on to the next game. Alrighty, so here we have Battlefield 2042, ultra settings. There's no frame generation in this game, so this is raw performance. Ultra settings 1080p with ray tracing ambient occlusion on at 1080p, and my god, just look at the frame rate. I think it speaks for itself, the performance of this card at 1080p and why it should be a 1080p card and not 1440p. Because if you're thinking of buying this card future proofing and for, you know, like not having to upgrade for a long time, 1080p is where it's at with this card. Yeah, it'll run 1440p, but like in the future, probably not. Just an FYI. Just a little tidbit there. What are they shooting at? This is Conquest times 64 with bots, because I don't want to play against sweats. And you'll be like, that isn't a true benchmark. You should do 128 player. Okay, then why is the next Battlefield 64 players? Hello? And that's my debate against haters. Oh, oof. Yeah, let's swap weapons here. Let's what do I want to use? I know this FAR is like really good, but the AC-42 is also really good. All the weapons in this game are really good. I honestly don't get the hate behind this game, because this game's actually pretty fun. If you have a decent enough PC to run it. Maps, I've been saying this since the beginning, other than when it launched. Because maps were, ooh, really bad when it launched. And performance was, ooh, atrocious when it launched. But, the maps that are out now, the guns that are out now, it's probably the most casual Battlefield you can play. I forgot this was a burst fire. Triple burst, ew. Quadruple burst. So lows are like 130 frames per second. Not bad. Not bad whatsoever, if you ask me. Dude, I just spawned. Forgot strafing doesn't work in this Battlefield. This isn't Battlefield 6. Who else is hyped for Battlefield 6? Because, like, dude, that game's going to be generational. A generational comeback from this game, for sure. Performance-wise, it needs work, for sure. Battlefield 6. A lot of people were glazing the beta, saying, oh, it runs on all hardware really well. But, eh. Alright, so that's the benchmark for Battlefield 2042. 1080p, ultra settings, ambient ray tracing, ambient occlusion ray tracing. Getting like 130 low, on average 170. That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. Moving on to the next game. Okay, so here we got Dead Island 2. 1080p, no DLSS, so this is pure raster performance. 1080p. And Dead Island 2. Ultra settings, by the way. No FSR, nothing. This is a... I've noticed this game's consistent no matter where you go, unless you're inside. So we're getting 98 on average. This game came out in 2023, I think. I got it for free on Epic Games, so I was like, why not benchmark it? You know, I enjoy the game. I think it's fun. It's a good benchmark because it's well optimized. Looks great. Like, this game looks phenomenal. Honestly, I can see why they spent so much time on it and why it was in development hell. And again, this is 1080p Ultra, no frame gen, no DLSS, none of that crap. no FSR, nothing like that. So this is just native performance. You're gonna be like, ew, 80 FPS. It's on ultra settings though, bro. If I turn it to high, it's gonna run like butter. And I mean 86 is still butter. Like y'all really cringe at 86 frames per second. I remember back in my day I had a 760, and on Ark Survival Evolved I was lucky to get 30 frames per second. Like, y'all are so spoon-fed nowadays, like with hardware. It's ridiculous. And we're getting like 80s to 90s, which is really good for ultra settings, like especially for a recent title like this. That's really good. Raster performance, eating up 10 gigabytes of VRAM, unfortunately. So yeah, that's a bummer. If I look over here, it's probably the most demanding. It was down there. So I think I'm gonna cut this benchmark early. Raster performance is pretty good. You know, 86 to 90s is the average. Lowest is like 82. No, 75. My bad. That's pretty good. With no FSR, no DLSS. And again, I will state, if you're buying NVIDIA in 2025, you are buying it for DLSS and frame generation. I'm going to keep reiterating this over and over again until I go crazy, until you guys go crazy too. Otherwise, you are just buying it for a brand name and because it's popular. Okay? Moving on to the next title after I kill this zombie. Hold on. Die. Rawr. Okay, moving on to the next title. Alrighty, so this is Cyberpunk at ultra settings, ultra ray tracing, medium crowd density, but everything else is on ultra. Okay. With frame generation times 4, DLSS on quality, 1080p. So keep in mind, this is with ray tracing. Damn! It's smooth as butter. Shit. Look, I mean, so here's the thing about DLSS on 1080p is people say, oh, you shouldn't use DLSS on 1080p. Honestly, I was using a 1080p TV that was 36 inches, or no, 42 inches. It was a Samsung crappy 1080p TV. Going from DLSS on that 1080p resolution to DLSS on a 26-inch monitor, or 27-inch, one of the two, I can't remember, 144 hertz, 1080p DLSS, there is little to no difference with DLSS 4 compared to native. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to be real. There's little to no difference, and it looks phenomenal. Anyway, I'm going to stop glazing. We're at high textures. Everything's on ultra. Ray tracing's on ultra. This is the most demanding spot in Night City, other than Dogtown, which not everybody owns the Dogtown DLC, so, or Phantom Liberty, I think it's called. Yeah, Phantom Liberty. Not everybody owns that, so this is just Night City, the most demanding spot it can get to. We are averaging 200 FPS. That's a beautiful thing if you ask me. And again, I will reiterate, if you are buying an NVIDIA card in 2025, you should be buying it for frame gen and DLSS, not rasterization performance. If you want raster performance, you go buy AMD. Period. End of story. Anyway, I've said this multiple times in this video, and I'll say it again and again and again. So out of that area, we're getting, you know, anywhere from 180 to 200. I fucking hate bikes in this game. Okay, so out of the most demanding area in the game, we're getting 220s. Wow. I am thoroughly impressed by this card, you guys. I can't lie. This card is no glazing. It is super powerful. Is it worth the price? If you're selling your old GPU and you know your old GPU has value, you sell it, resell it, and you buy this one, so like for $200 extra, assuming you sell your old GPU, yeah, absolutely, it's worth it, worth the upgrade. Is it worth the MSRP if you are upgrading from like, all right, let's get real here. Is it worth the MSRP if you're upgrading from like a 10 series card? I don't know. I'll let the benchmark speak for itself, and then we'll talk about it in the finale. But that's Cyberpunk. Got an average of 200 FPS. Phenomenal, if you ask me. Ray tracing ultra. Yeah. Moving on to the next game. All right, here we have Dead Space. I'm going to take you through my settings here real quick. This has no frame gen whatsoever, so this is pure raster performance at 1080p. Keep in mind, I have my VTubing software open, and I'm recording using my CPU. So anti-aliasing, this is no DLSS, nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on DLSS quality just because, you know, I'm gonna stick by what I said. If you are buying an NVIDIA card, I've said it multiple times, if you are buying an NVIDIA card in the big 2025, you are buying it for DLSS and frame gen. If you are not, or if you are not buying it for those reasons, you are buying it for a brand name. That is about it. Buy AMD if you are looking for raster performance. Okay, so we're at ultra with ray trace ambient occlusion. Ultra settings, otherwise DLSS on quality. Dead Space remaster, let's get it. Okay, so this is the, so this, it's going to be pretty much consistent throughout the whole game because it's all inside. I'm just gonna do this. Okay, I need to go this way, and we're hitting like 150 ultra settings, 1080p, DLSS on quality. That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. This is where it's gonna get a little more demanding outside here. Lagging a lot. I don't know why. I'm gonna guess it's just the game's optimization. Okay. So we have a low of like 92 right now. And this is an Unreal Engine 5 title, by the way. So Unreal Engine 5 games are really demanding, notoriously known as being unoptimized. Surprisingly, this one's not too badly optimized. It runs pretty well. Oh, hello, friend. I say as it stutters, you know, consistently. What the fuck is shooting at me? Goober? What a goober. Okay. Dude, what the hell is shooting at me? Fuck. Bastard. Okay. Bam. Bam. Boom. Alrighty. So we're getting a low of like 110. And this is outside, so this is like a very demanding sector. So that's pretty good for rasterization performance, you know. No No frame gen whatsoever. That's pretty good. I think this is a 2025 title. If not, it's 2024. I can't remember. And then again, coming back inside here. 150 to 160s range. At an Unreal Engine 5 title, that's pretty good. That's pretty dang good if you ask me. That's the benchmark for Dead Space Remastered. Moving on to the next game. Alright, so here we have Marvel Rivals running at 4x frame generation, ultra settings. Everything's on ultra. Yeah, let's DLSS quality, of course, because that's the only way you should run DLSS at 1080p. It's quality. No, someone took my mate. I'm leaving. We're gonna just requeue real quick. So this is with Lumen all the way up. This is with obviously no ray tracing. The game doesn't have ray tracing. So Lumen all the way up. Everything on ultra. DLSS on quality. Frame generation times 4 on Marvel Rivals. And like every other game, very consistent, no ghosting, high refresh rate experience. It just is. And again, I will reiterate, as I've reiterated throughout this whole video, is that if you are buying an NVIDIA card in the big 2025, you should be buying it for DLSS and frame gen. Okay? If you're buying it for raster performance, you're just biased towards NVIDIA. I forgot this is a team-based game. We're getting 250s. $250s on average, not bad. The AI in this game sucks. This is really good performance, guys. I don't know what to tell you. If you're considering on buying this card, I absolutely recommend it. Like, for 1080p. Again, this is not a 1440p card. This is definitely a 1080p card. Okay, I finally died. But, gotta revive. Let's go. I'm the only one on the team who's died. Because I'm not getting heals. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. It might be copyrighted. $35. That's crazy. Even though it's AI, you know, that's still crazy. Got a minute left. Honestly, performance is really good. Like, do I even need to tell you what the average is? Because, like, it's above 250. And if you turn Lumen off, you're looking at like 400, because I've played without Lumen. Thor. Yeah. It's always Black Widow that gets me. GG. That's been the benchmark for Marvel Rivals. 1080p Ultra, DLSS quality, Lumen on the highest, 4x frame gen. Beautiful frame rate, if you ask me. we're looking at like 250 on average. That's pretty good, and a well optimized game if you ask me. Moving on to the next title. Alrighty, so here we have Escape from Tarkov at 1080p. I'm going to go ahead and show you my settings. This is maxed out except for HBAO because it is ultra demanding for no reason whatsoever. DLSS on quality, even if you turn DLSS off, it's just going to use your GPU more. I mean, it's whatever. DLSS doesn't really do a lot in this game because this is a CPU intensive game. But I figured it was worth a shot testing. So here we have Escape from Tarkov, and this is on reserve. I'm gonna go ahead and go down to the bunker to get the highest frame rate we can. Okay. This is with high textures as well, which eats all of the VRAM. All of the VRAM. Like, I've never seen a game use this much VRAM ever, at 1080p especially. It's ridiculous. Okay. Lows of like 72 right there. Reload this. Okay, Raiders spawned. Got a little action going on here. And this is single player Tarkov. In normal Tarkov, your frame rate should actually be higher because it's going to be less CPU dependent because you're not running a solo server. Okay, he's down. I just got Tarkov, dude. Okay, well that's the benchmark for Tarkov. We're looking at like 72 is the lowest. Highest is like 104 ish at ultra settings, maxed out. That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. DLSS on quality again. Moving on. Okay, so as you can see, the 5060 Ti is a phenomenal 1080p card. It has no issues running games at this resolution, and like I'll reiterate it again because people need to know. This card is meant for 1080p, and Nvidia is meant for DLSS and frame generation. If you are not buying an Nvidia card for DLSS and frame generation, you should not be buying an Nvidia card. Period. Okay. Nvidia is known for their AI usage and their super sampling, this, that, and the third. AMD is known for pure raster performance. Pure raster meaning hardware performance, just complete, like, how do I describe it? Balls to the walls, everything on the PCB, it's there. That's why they have 24 gigabytes of VRAM on their best card. But yeah, overall, it's a great card. It'll last you for 10 years easily if you play at 1080p. Has more than enough VRAM for competitive gaming and for 1440p if you want to dabble with it. For games nowadays, yes, you can play at 1440p, but it's highly recommended you play at 1080p. That's been the video. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you, homies. That is homies. Have a great rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, and I hope I helped you influence your purchase and deciding on the graphics card you want to buy. Take care. Love yourself.